Hi, I'm Steelfur, and this is my keyword guide to all the new abilities that are added in every set of Flesh and Blood. This is a chronological guide broken up by sets, so if you're curious about earlier sets, be it before this one, you can go into the playlist, you can go to the top, which is Welcome to Wraith, go into there, listen to it, and run down through the set, and you'll end the guide hearing every single hero, every single new keyword, and how they were introduced to the game. This is for new and returning players, just to catch you up on any sets you missed, or if you're a new player and you're wondering, hey, that keyword's cool, when was it introduced into the game? Then you can get an understanding by listening through this entire playlist and sort of getting an idea of when different keywords were introduced to the game. We also explain a bit about how the keywords work, as well as how, people should expect to see them, what classes they find them in. So is it a keyword that you'll find across every class, or is it just something that shows up in, say, Brute, for example, and give you a bit of an understanding of how they work and when people intend to use them. So this is Heavy Hitters, the latest set, the 10th set in Flesh and Blood. Obviously, the playlist starts at the beginning and works its way up to here, so this is the latest video as of when I'm recording it, but this is evergreen content, so expect to see it added to when the next set comes out. The first thing to note is we do see the return of the landmark card type, which hasn't been seen since Everfest. Landmarks are a permanent card type that come into play when they're played from hand. And they typically have legendary, and the other important thing is just they have special rules that govern landmarks. So landmarks are only destroyed when the text that destroys them on the card is triggered, for example, or when another landmark is played. So the Deathmatch Arena doesn't have any text that would destroy it, so actually it's only destroyed if you were to play Korshem or the Great Library of Solana, and that would then destroy it. In terms of new keywords in this set, we see Beat Chest for Brutes. We see Wager, which is for Guardian, Brutes, and Warriors. And we see Clash, which is for Guardian, Brutes, and Warriors. So every ability in the set is for the three classes in the set, so Guardian, Brute, and Warrior, and is used in different ways by those heroes. Also worth noting, as we talk through those keywords, is the three token types that were added in this set, which are Agility, Might, and Vigor. Gold already existed, though it is kind of relevant. Agility says at the start of your turn, destroy this, your next attack gains, go again. Might says at the start of your turn, destroy this, then your next attack gains +1. And Vigor says at the start of your turn, destroy this, then gain 1. Gold says 2, destroy this card, draw a card. And we saw that, I think, first in Dynasty. So let's break down how these new keywords work, starting with Wager. So when I attack with a card with Wager, I may wager whatever it says I can on the card, in this case Gold, Might, and Vigor, though you'll see there's a Wager Vigor card, there's a Wager Might card, Wager Agility card, and all of them let you wager one of those things, or a Wage Gold card, for example. So when this attacks a hero, you may wager a Vigor token with them. What that means is, when the chain link resolves, if this hits, so if it deals physical damage, so say I attack for 7, you block 6, it deals 1 damage, I win the wager. And then I create a Vigor token. However, if my opponent blocks all 7 damage and does not take damage, they win the wager and they create a Vigor token. That's very relevant because there are cards that reference when tokens would be created from a wager. So the person who's seen as winning the wager will create those tokens, whoever wins the wager. We then see the keyword Clash added, which is primarily on... Well, it's on all the classes in the set, to be honest, but it is used differently by all of them. So, for example, Brutes and Warriors can make Agility, Guardians and Brutes can make Might, and then Guardians and Warriors can make Vigor, for example. But Clash is a very simple ability to understand. When you defend with the card, you both reveal the top card of your deck. The hero that reveals the card with the greatest power wins. No hero wins in case of a tie. If one hero reveals a card without a value and the other hero reveals a card with a value, the card with a value is considered to be higher. The card without a value is considered to be 0. If you defend with multiple cards, they all start defending at the same time. So I might block with a card with Clash and a card without Clash. I cannot resolve the Clash before blocking with the other card. What I do is determine all the cards that are going to block this, maybe something else, put them on the table, and then they all start defending at the same time. If I defend with 2 cards with Clash, I choose, as the active player, which order I want to resolve the clashes in. But remember that unless the clash changes the top card of my deck, I will be clashing with the exact same card twice in a row. Some people will shortcut that and just say, well, it's 2 clashes, I win both of them, get both the tokens, etc. However, it is worth noting there is one clash called Trounce, which is the Guardian Majestic, that does actually change the card that is revealed after it is revealed. So it is just worth noting that there are times when clash does change after. So that's clash, that's wager. Those are the 2 main effects in the set. The third keyword introduced, which is just worth noting, is called Guardwell. Guardwell is currently only on 1 piece of equipment, and let's find that piece of equipment. It is called Balance of Justice. This is a generic equipment, so it's available to everyone. And Guardwell just says, when this combat chain closes, if this defended, put a -1 counter on it equal to its power, or equal to its block. Now this means if you block with this and nothing else happens, you will put 2 -1 counters on it. It will then have 0 block, but it will not get destroyed because there's no check for destruction. And then you can then use it to trigger its ability whenever you like. In addition, if the card gets minus block for some reason, like Shred, for example, an assassin attack reaction that gives minus block, it will not get any counters because it will have 0 blocks. So if something reduces its block while it's on the chain, it does not gain any counters. Otherwise, it gains counters equal to the amount it's blocking for. This is the first instance of Guardwell we've seen. It's kind of an alternative to Battle Worn and Temper that doesn't let you get an extra 1 health like Battle Worn does, because remember, Battle Worn blocks for 2 and then 1, and then the card still stays on the board and you can still use the ability. And Temper, of course, you block for 2, and then you have to choose between blocking and destroying the piece of equipment, or using the ability, which often destroys it, or just, using the ability ongoing and not ever using the 1 to block. Whereas Guardwell says, hey, you can block with me for 2 and use my ability, but you don't get that extra 1 life that you would get if you were using Temper or Battle Worn and chose to block again. The only other keyword that is added, which is just worth noting, is only on 1 card right now, is Universal. So Universal says, while in any zone, this is the same class as your hero. So all this means is that wherever this is in your deck, in your, in play, in attack, in your arsenal, in the banished zone, it always counts as being the same class as your hero. So if you have something that says your next brute attack gets +4, this is a brute attack for those purposes. If it says your next warrior attack or target warrior attack as an attack reaction gets +3, this counts as a warrior attack. So you can always play this with synergy with cards that are of your class. Interestingly, if you are an illusionist, this also counts as an illusionist card and cannot trigger Phantasm on your opponent's attacks. Now, if you want to know more about Phantasm, go back to the Monarch video where we break it down in detail. It's just worth noting that it does have some downsides as well as some upsides. So those are the keywords from the main set. We also see the return, we also see Beat Chest, getting ahead of myself, which is a new keyword in Brute. As an additional cost to play this, you may discard a card with 6 or more power, so it's an optional additional cost. So you'll play this card, pitch to pay for it, and then choose whether or not you're going to discard a card. That is the sequencing. Your next Brute card gets +3. If you've beaten Chest, it gets +5. So this is a kicker effect that is added on to certain cards that gives you more power if you play the additional cost. And obviously the additional cost also lets you add on other abilities and things that reference Beat Chest. So those are the new keywords: Beat Chest, Wager, Clash, Universal, Guardwell. We also see a return of things like Intimidate on Rhinar, Temper, Battle Worn on Equipment. We see the return of Dominate and Overpower. We see the return of those kind of things as well. So if you're wondering about what to keep track of in terms of heavy hitters, keep track of the tokens, what they do, keep track of those keywords, the Wager, and the Clash, as well as sort of, Beat Chest as well. So those are the main keywords in the set. Once you know those, you'll be good. That brings us to the end of the series for now. Obviously, it's going to be updated when a new set comes out, but if you're wondering why the playlist has ended, it is February of 2024. So if you're listening to this much later, there will be more videos. If a new set's come out, there will be another video. But for now, if you've just seen heavy hitters, then that is the keyword guide over for the time being. Thanks for listening. I'll see you all soon.